welcome. My name's Chanel and this is my YouTube channel about all my yarny adventures. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Mummaofyarn. Today is November 2nd and this is episode 5 of my Twists and Turns MCOW shawl progress. I'm wearing today my shawlography, which was last year's MCOW. I'll just give you a quick peek here. This was a kit from Stephen and Penelope. All yarns are life in the long grass. I've got all the notes on my Ravelry page if you're interested on colour, names, etc. This was one of my favourites. These colours were stunning and the yarn is so beautiful to work with. There we go. So clue 4 of Twists and Turns. What was everyone's thoughts on that? I'll get my shawl now. I was a little disappointed, to be honest. I was hoping for a lot more depth, and I'm not too sure I like the placement of the bottom section of the middle of the shawl. So if I have blocked my shawl, it's slightly damp still. Let me see if I can sit back. So here is the middle section finished. Here's the sides. And the other side. Now if I fold it in half, I'll be able to show you a bit easier. So, to recap, this was section 1, clue 1, section 1, clue 2, section 2, section 3, clue 3, section 4, and 5. Then we've got 6 were these red pieces, and 7, then 8, 9, and this bit here, 10. Now, let me just fold it in half. It is extremely wide. It's a lot wider than my other shawls. Now that I've knitted, this section is beautiful. I really, really enjoyed knitting up these short rows and picking up along the edge here. Now, I do have one issue. Stephen said these I-cords on the edge wouldn't roll. Mine are still rolling after blocking. I don't know whether that's because I've knitted them too tight or too loose, but they do look absolutely stunning blocked. Oh gosh, it's so difficult to hold. I'm really, really pleased with them. Those 2 stitch twists look absolutely stunning and it's given it such a beautiful effect. And I think having the main colour and contrast colour next to them has really, really made the colours pop and stand out. This section, I really dislike this here, really dislike it. Look at that. I'm feeling like it doesn't flow at all. It sort of juts out. I don't know whether you can see, it's so difficult to show. If I step back, don't know whether you can see what I mean. It sort of those harsh angles. It feels like, almost like an afterthought really, as to, what am I going to do to make this a little bit deeper? And then just, oh, we'll put some chevrons on the bottom, but I'm not too sure how Stephen was thinking about those. I mean, here, look, just that angle. I'm feeling, I don't know. I mean, I love the shawl. I love the shawl. I think it's beautiful. I'm really, really pleased with my colour choices. I just feel that this section here needed something extra. Now, overall, I do have a couple of little irritations. Stephen said these would be hidden behind these braids. Mine aren't, as you can see. After blocking, they've really opened up. Now, I'm not too sure how to rectify that. I think what I might have to do, and it's only on one side as well, the other side is really nice and tight. Although that is a pickup and that's really loose. So it must be the way certain stitches are cast on or cast off or picked up. As a whole though, when you're wearing it, I'm sure it'll hardly notice. How are you all feeling about your shawls? I think I've shown that enough now. Let's get to some figures and notes that I've made. So for section 8 and 9, and I used 16 grams for section 9 of main colour, 15 grams for section 9 of contrasting colour, and ever so slightly less for section 8 of those. So main colour was 13 grams and contrasting colour was 14 grams. I'm not too sure why I used less yarn on one side than the other. They were both identical. So whether or not it's a case of, because I wonder whether we had an extra row purling or something. Section 10, I used 14 grams of main colour, 9 grams of contrasting colour and 8 grams of accent colour. I assume they are sort of the quantities that were needed. My shawl as a whole used 1,585 yards of yarn, and that's quite a bit less than what Stephen had recommended. So overall, I used 150 grams of main colour, which was 655.5 yards, and Stephen recommended that we needed 780 yards. For the contrasting colour, my shawl took 134 grams, which was 623 yards, making a shortfall of 157 yards. And my accent colour, I used 70 grams, which was 306 yards, and Stephen recommended 390. So again, a shortfall of 84. Whether or not I'm a tight knitter, I don't think I'm that much of a tight knitter. I did go up a size for my needle. I used a 3.75 needle, so I would have thought that would have made some allowances there. But I had a lot of yarn left over. I'd be interested actually to know if lots of other people have had a lot of yarn left over and what their yarn. So how are you all with your yardage? Did you have much yarn left over? I had quite a bit, definitely enough to add to various other projects and things. And what are all your thoughts on this shawl this year? I loved the shawl. I enjoyed the process. I mean, we don't join up to the mystery knit along for having a certain shawl shape or size in mind that we wanted to knit. We do it purely for the surprise and the mystery of the shawl. So in that sense, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I just wish there was more depth and size to the shawl. Width-wise, it's beautiful. It really does wrap around you. I wonder whether Stephen has taken on board this year that quite a lot of people have dropped out. They found the process of Clue 1 extremely tedious and very hard going. I think that then reflected, excuse me, on them falling behind, and the more they fell behind, the more they just weren't interested in catching up, I suppose. They felt that it was quite a bit of a challenge to keep up with the knitting. Personally, I felt clues 3 and 4 were rather small and didn't really take up that much knitting time, to be honest. With clue 4, I knit section 8 on the Thursday, section 9 on the Friday, and section 10 on Saturday. I then washed and blocked the shawl Sunday, and it's still damp now, so it's taking a good 2-3 days to dry, but we have got quite cooler weather now. We're not very sunny, so I might. So in wrap up of the mystery knit along, I thoroughly recommend it. I enjoyed it immensely. I will definitely be taking part again next year. I also take part in Stephen's Hyper Knit Along. I've done that for the past 2 years, ever since he started it. I've brought my shawls to show you, just in case you haven't seen the Hyper Knit Alongs before. This one was Hyper Knit Along for 2020, and this is all knit up using Holstgarn yarn. I used some leftovers from my slip extravaganza. Let's pull that back there. And this was 2021. And that was knit up in a walk yarn and a, I can't remember, I think they're called a shropple ball or something. I've got all the notes in my Ravelry pages for these. So I will definitely be taking part in Stephen's Hyper Knit Along this year. I think I might vlog about that as well and my progress. So if you're interested in that, please do let me know, because I'd be interested to know whether or not other people are interested in my shawl journeys. I'd like to say a big thank you to you all for watching and taking time out of your day to spend looking at my shawls. If you have any comments or want to ask any questions, please do leave them below. And thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.